Thank
understand
you.
why this is so difficult. Every week, the same thing. I just try. We got to work out something better because I asked you to hit the button. You don't hit the button. You don't send the link. Um, we got to do better. We can't really. We got to do better, right, Doc? We can't have this type of
Don't
this.
put me in it. Don't put me
This is
in
how
it.
things don't run as smoothly as they can. So what we have to do is before. So well, no, after we'll talk. Just start the show. We'll talk about this next. After the show is over. Okay, that's cool. You put the call in number early. All right, so go ahead, start the show so we can talk to the people.
We're live.
We are live, right? I don't know why you didn't see that.
Oh, okay. So hey, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. They don't tell you push the button. See, this is what we have here. They start the show, don't even tell you. But let's get into it. Let's welcome back to another episode of Nothing But.
Answers.
It's a place to come to get all the answers you need because we have them. Don't go nowhere else. Don't even fact check what we say. Just accept it as truth. It's the truth.
That's how everybody else operates. We're just putting it
Listen,
out there.
they don't ever fact check. They hear somebody say something that becomes the truth. It's the gospel. So
Yes.
it's gonna be the gospel hour. We're gonna change it to the gospel hour. It's gonna be all truth here. Yes. Um,
Um,
well, we might have to wait a second. I see somebody doing something. But while we're waiting for somebody to do something, we'll introduce the panel. Hey, don't shake your head. Hey, Neil, I got you. I told him, don't keep forgetting Neil. Send her the link. This is
I
crazy.
saw a link at 8 o'clock, which is why I'm pleasantly late. Thank you.
No. If you saw the link at 8 o'clock, that means you didn't sign on until 8 o'clock.
Exactly.
So you're late because you're late. It had nothing to do with the link. Don't link the link to you being late.
Doc,
But
let's
you're
just
talking.
move
How
it
you doing,
along.
Neil? How's everything going?
Whew, I'm okay. I'm here. Glad
Okay.
we're meeting today.
Yes. I mean,
Um,
you wanted to take off last week, so we followed in your
Daryl,
footsteps.
you
And we
gonna
took
stop
off.
lying before I bust you out on lie. I'm trying not to do it. I'm gonna let you be in charge here. Let's say I'm happy that we're meeting. I'll leave it at
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Since I was the only one sitting in the room like a fool last week, like, hey, where's everybody?
Well, Leanne said she was there.
Whew. Leanne was the only one kind enough. No, Doc also later said we're not meeting. I'm like, oh. So I knew it was Daryl. Whatever happened, I knew it was Daryl. But anyway,
Almost choked. I
I'm
was ready to
here.
go.
Things are good. I'm
Things are
here.
good week.
Good week, productive week, restful week, Grandma Ruth week. Got her some new birds, you saw.
Yes, yes.
Did she
So
ask for birds?
her last birdie died recently, so she needed more
Oh,
birds.
so did she ask for birds? Was the question?
Yes, she did. They're her fur babies. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
She told me she wakes up at 7 a.m. and lets them watch cartoons of their choice. So this is what she says. Okay. So yes, good week. Very nice week. Thank you.
Nice. Doc, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
How was that week? God dang, I must be a dentist.
My
Like
week
12
was
teeth
my
in
week
here.
was interesting. It was a little strange, but it was overall I can't complain.
Okay.
Nothing bad, just a little
Just
different.
okay.
But when I saw Grandma Ruth's birds, it just reminded me of when we were little. They
Yes.
always had birds. My
Yes,
grandma
they
Okay.
always
did.
had birds in her house too.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Did your grandma let hers out? Because grandma used to
Yes,
let them out. Yes.
yes, and he would let the birds fly around the house. Yes, I remember.
So you just chasing
Yes.
birds in your house,
Well, they would just fly around for their
They would just
exercise.
fly around.
and then you just go back into the cage.
Yes,
Yes, they would go back.
yes, yeah, yeah.
That was old
I don't
school
know what
bird
that was all
training, right?
about, but
Mm,
we always had birds.
yes,
Always,
I
but we
agree.
always had all kinds of animals, but we definitely had birds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Leanne, how are you doing? You got a bird story?
I'm doing well, and no, I do not.
Okay, yeah. Leanne, neither do
What's
I. But
up?
go ahead. How was your week?
It was alright. You know.
We're gonna skip this part of the show from now on. We're gonna go right into it. This is
That-
No
this is
more check-in.
You
no
don't need
more
the intro.
what? We don't learn that. You gotta pull teeth to learn about birds. So it was just okay, huh, Leanne?
yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
All right, all right. That was great. The week was good. It was a little cooler this week. That wasn't the best. I didn't get to ride my bike as much. Didn't get to fish as much, but good week went by fast. We're back here ready to go. I learned about birds flying around the house and going back in the cage.
We had obedient birds back then. Obedient.
Yes.
They probably went back in the cage because that was the safest place in the house. You trying to cook them.
It was probably.
Well, we had cats, so the cage was the safest
See?
place.
Wow. We didn't have cats.
Very interesting. So, did you guys help take care of the birds?
Mhm.
Yeah.
As little kids, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very interesting. As kids, you took care of the birds.
Mm-hmm.
Brings us to tonight's subject. We're talking about children, more so step parenting children.
Mm.
What does that look like? What is a step parent's role in those children's lives?
Mm-hmm.
I think we hear a lot. We want you to treat those kids like your own.
Mhm.
But is that really true? Do you really want them to? Do you really want them to treat you?
Depending on how they treat their own kids.
Right?
Well, so what I would say, I would start with, I think a lot of times people say that, but they're only talking about the good things. They want you to do all the good things for the child, take them out, give them candy, buy them gifts, all that type of stuff. But usually discipline is the first, thing that we come to that may be, they don't want you to treat them like your own.
Mhm.
So within discipline, what's a step parent's role in discipline? What do you guys think?
Hmm.
Just to be quiet. I agree. Sometimes you just have to be quiet and don't say anything to them. Right? Just ignore them. That's a really good. Ignore
think it-
stepchildren.
I think it changes depending on if the other parent is involved
Hmm.
in the life of the child. I feel like that's really up to the biological parents to implement a disciplinary agenda for the child, and then
Well,
the
can we stay right there for a minute, Leanne, please?
mhm.
I had a question. You kind of said two things, right? You said it's if the other parent is involved, but then the parent that in the home to create a discipline. It's not class. You can't raise your hand, Ruth. Okay.
I was rubbing my chin. Thank you.
Don't rub your chin. Don't rub your chin. Don't move. I don't know what you're doing over there.
Mhm.
But then you said also the parent in the home should also set forth what the rules are. Do those two things to you work in tandem, or does that one parent set the rule regardless of if there's another parent in the home?
No, I think they work in tandem. I think it's up to both of the parents to come up with the rules and regulations that the child is going to abide by. If they can be mature about it, mature adults about it, and they are having a co-parenting style of upbringing the child.
Mm.
So, so my pushback would be, I'm not having something outside of my home run it, or even have kind of say in my home, right? Because now you have three people to deal with in that home. You have the parent outside, and you have the whoever the other parent is in the home to make all these rules in your home.
That comes
And they
with
said
the
the ten,
territory
Mm.
in the case of having a child in the home that's not yours. Because the other parent needs to be able to weigh in on how their child is reared.
yeah, I would say in my case, that's not how it goes. I don't dictate what goes on in that home, nor does she dictate what goes on in this home, especially because we have very different parenting styles, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Our styles are
Mhm.
very, very different.
Mhm.
But even with different parenting styles, well, let me not say even with different parenting styles, do you guys have different rules
Mm.
in your
Yes,
houses?
absolutely.
Huh. Okay.
Because we allow different things.
Hmm.
Hmm.
What she may think is a problem may not be a problem to me,
Mm.
right? Or what she feels, like say if she thought the kid should go to bed at 7 o'clock, I'm like that's not that wouldn't make too early for me for a child to go to bed.
Mm.
So things like that, it can differ, right?
Mm.
We differ on things.
But wouldn't
Um,
that be confusing
I
to the
was about
child
to
with
ask
those
about the kid.
different? When
Mhm.
I'm at daddy's house, I got to do one thing. When I'm at
Mhm.
mommy's house, I got to do another thing.
So is it really different? Because at school they got to do another thing too, right? So in different places, kids learn to operate
Mhm.
differently, right? Kids are very, especially depending how long they've done it, they
Mm-hmm.
they just this is what it is, right?
Mm.
I can understand maybe depending on when that breakup happened, maybe that could be more a little bit more detrimental. For me, we've been doing it since she was young, 6 months old, I think.
Mm.
Mm.
So she's pretty
Mhm.
much. I mean, I think
So she's
um,
acclimated by now. Yeah.
kind of like like she knows how,
Mhm.
almost like code switching. She knows what she can
Oh.
do here, she
Mm.
knows what you can do there.
Mhm.
She knows what's going to make this person yell or what's going to get this response in this
Mm.
home. And this home it
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily have that, right? But again, kind of like this is what Leanne I agree with. It comes with the territory. When you have a child and you're not in that child and you guys split, then you if you were together, maybe you would come to certain rules together because you're under the same roof. Then
Mm.
somebody would probably have to concede. But since you're in different homes, um, it starts to be
Mm.
difficult to
Mm.
really want to parent the way they parent if you guys parent totally different. You know,
Mm.
like
Mm.
what if one side uses physical discipline, the other side doesn't? Other side is removing items from the child or restricting screen time or something as opposed to that. So I think homes are going to be different and it comes with the territory for making, for the relationship not working.
I think, like Doc said, it could be confusing if you're in a household and you've already established your rearing uh rules and regulations and everything like that, to bring a significant other in and now have them say, oh no, well, I think it should be this way, and start trying to put their say so into the mix where kid is already acclimated to your way of rearing.
So that's a different situation. You're saying someone come into your home, like say if a woman came into my home and then now she wanted to also implement her way of
Mm.
rearing the child. Is that what you're saying, Leanne?
Yeah, or even vice versa. If you two, she has a kid or he has a kid already,
Okay.
and you guys come and decide you're gonna go for it
Right.
and live in the same home,
Right. Right.
it will be difficult to say, okay, now here for the non-child parent to start for the non-child uh person to say, okay, here's what we're going to do now.
So right. So anytime you add something different, that's going to
Mhm.
just that relationship is going to be different, right? Because if you were single and now there's somebody else taking time away from that child, or, because that child may feel like, this person is taking my time away from said parent, right? Because it was just you and the parent before that. So that whole situation will be different, right? And it's going to be, and that's where it becomes tough as a step parent. How do you navigate coming into a relationship where there's a child? If you have a child of your own and you have your own beliefs of rearing a child, how do you navigate that? Is a real question. How do you navigate it? How do you, that bonus child? How do you treat that child? And again, I think it's the discipline part really is a tough part. Like what can you do? What you can't do? What can you say? And I can't remember the video we saw that was 2 weeks ago where the stepmom actually used physical punishment on the child, and then the mother pulled up like, don't beat my child. That's tough. You know what I mean? Because your child is in someone else's home. I don't know if you can dictate what goes on in someone else's home. Can you dictate what goes on in someone else's home? Can you tell that step parent, if the parent in the home allows them to, can you tell them to stop?
I think it'll be a fight.
It's tough.
Mhm.
That's tough.
Yes, it definitely seems like it's going to be a fight.
Yeah, that's tough.
I don't think you can dictate what goes on at home outside the home.
Yeah. And not just to dictate, but you really can't always monitor it either.
Because every time you hit my kid, I gotta hit you. Like, we're gonna be in jail all the time.
Not we will. You will be in jail all the time. Then I'll be a kid while you in jail.
Yeah, that's
and that's it. And that becomes a problem. That is problematic though, right? Because I know if someone hit my child, I don't care right, wrong, or indifferent. It's going to be a problem for somebody. I can't see it being, I can't even fathom it. There's nothing you can say to make it okay. I don't care what she did. So I'm with Leanne. It definitely would. I know I would need bail.
But isn't that when it's important, Daryl, for those two parents to make sure those big things like that, as far as putting your hands on my child, is understood no matter whose roof they're under?
You can't, because if we have a different way of parenting, right? Some people feel physical punishment is okay. And just because I don't mean we may not come to, you're not in my home. I don't have to agree with you.
No, I agree with that piece. I'm saying like the mother can discipline that way if that's her different way. But I'm saying if she has a man in the household, there has to be some understanding between that mother and the ex.
Why?
That another male does not touch my child.
Why? Because again, we just kind of said, we said in the beginning that we want them to treat them like they're our own.
Yes.
So now if I don't discipline them like I would discipline my own, we're not treating them the same.
But there are ways to discipline.
But
I need you to change the way you discipline.
Right.
No, but if we discipline in the home this way, even if say the bio mom disciplines by spanking, right? Mm-hmm. So she's okay with spanking in her home already. Mm-hmm. The bio and the stepdad is like, okay, I spank too, right? Now she has a household where she's like, deferring to him to be the disciplinarian, and she's allowing him to spank, and that's what she's allowing in her home.
We got to talk about that a little further.
There's nothing to talk about. You're not going to dictate. You can talk all you want. I don't have to talk to you. We're not together, right? So what goes on under my roof is my business. This is how I run my home. Just because you have in your feelings about it doesn't mean I'm going to change how I run my home.
This is why you have these conversations with people before you have kids with them.
Exactly.
Right. This is why this is why you find out what type of discipline they use before
gotta have the talk. Gotta have the talk.
And that's the question. I think that if you know this person is okay with physical discipline, then if you break up, physical discipline is something that they're okay with. So they may allow, especially if they want a relationship where the man is the one that does the, say they have some like traditional type views and they want the man to be the disciplinarian. Well, then he's going to be the one to do that. Yeah, you can say all you want, but you have no control over what goes in somebody's house. But that's Ruth, what you're feeling is that's how the other parents.
Yeah, it's a real feeling. I don't want you hitting my child if you're not her father.
Absolutely. And take it a step further. Say if you have a child that you feel that doesn't need to be spanked, right? They're not that
Right.
type of child. They really don't get in
Mhm.
trouble much. They respond to verbal redirections, and you're like, this person doesn't even need that type of
Mhm.
discipline.
Mhm.
It's tough because you can't stop what goes on in someone else's roof in their house. I mean, unless it's abusive, but if it's a spanking, there's nothing you can do.
But that's the whole thin line.
It's
Spanking
not
for one person, spanking for one person may be borderline abusive for
well, no,
somebody else.
borderline abusive is whatever the legal laws are in that area, right? So, say New Jersey, I can spank you with my hand, right? That's not illegal. That is actually
Mhm.
that's permissible. There's
Okay.
no smacking a kid, pop, 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 give him a couple pops, nothing. As long as they don't leave a mark, it's fine.
Okay.
So, if the child, was disrespect, shut up, you ain't my dad, pop, pop, pop. That technically is not abuse. So you can get upset and yell and scream, and I'm like, cool, as long as you don't come by my house because there's a restraining order, you ain't supposed to be on my block. But those are real feelings, and I think, like
Mm.
Doc said,
Mm.
I think this is something you have to, before you have children with people,
Yes.
you might want to try to, think about these things before you
Mm.
end up in a situation where you do have someone else rearing your child, and it does become tough for the other parent. But you don't do yourself any justice by going to do anything. You go step to that parent that did it or whatever the case may be. That just causes more trouble for you and gives that other parent more control because you're gonna be in jail.
Yeah,
You
that's a
know,
situation. That's a situation. Mhm.
Yes, it
it
is.
is. It's definitely a situation, and that's why sometimes the question was I've seen a lot. People said, "Is it even worth being a step parent?" Sometimes.
Mm.
Mhm.
Is it worth it?
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
you see someone with a child, get up out of there. Um, because you're dealing with so many other people.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
problem is the older you get, I mean, if you stay in your own
Right.
age bracket or age range for
Yep,
dating, the chances are you're going to come across people who have kids.
absolutely,
Mm. Mm.
absolutely.
Mm.
But there's 54% of men are single without kids, so there are men out there.
Yeah, yeah, there are
So you might
some.
you might have to keep looking unless you.
There are some.
So I think so. To be a step parent, I think you do have to think about these things first. So if you are dealing with
Mhm,
someone with a child,
mhm,
uh, I get the fun parts, hanging out and things like that, but think about what it's going to look like if you guys are under one roof,
Mhm.
mhm,
especially as
Mhm.
Leanne pointed out before, if that other parent is involved.
mhm.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
other parent is going to be involved. What does that look like for you? You know, um, are you, able to? So, and see, it's really tough because I think it as you know another man dictating what goes on in your home. And how about if you, as step parents, don't like what the dad is doing? That becomes a problem too if you're with the child and
Mm.
you care about the child, and the
Mhm.
bio mom or dad is tripping, but you don't really have any rights to do anything to that either, or say anything
Mhm.
negative about that parent.
True.
You shouldn't. I mean, people do interject at times, but I don't. You really shouldn't.
Mm.
Um, Step parenting is tough.
It
Yeah.
is very
Yeah.
hard.
It's
But that's
tough.
why, I'm gonna say it 100 times. You got to know who you having kids with.
Mm.
You gotta. You have to. Too many times people don't. They don't. They don't know anything till after you had a baby.
Mhm.
Right, right, right. But
Mhm.
it's tough because, like I said, Doc, even in relationships you might have been with someone for 7, 8 years and you guys break up. Now you're entering into a world where you're gonna have other people in there, and it wasn't something that I was prepared for, and that makes it, I think, even tougher.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, and
Mhm.
that's what Leanne was
And
talking
it
about
can
earlier. Now you have
work.
a child that's older. They're used to parenting in one way because the parents are in the home. Now you have somebody else coming in. Whew.
It's a
It could
lot.
be a lot. My
It's a lot.
stepmom was the best. She
Oh
was
wow.
Okay,
the
okay,
best.
That's
Yes,
a
okay.
good
she
thing
was
to know.
Well, tell me
Mhm.
some things.
wonderful. And when I
What
was
made her
with
the best?
her, my mom, when I was with my dad and my stepmom, my mom didn't have to worry about nothing.
Wow.
Then she didn't have to worry about how I was being disciplined because they were so on the same page.
Mm.
Did they talk,
I don't
mom and
know. I
stepmom?
was a kid. I don't know if they
Okay.
if they ever had to talk about, but I never seen or came across a problem growing up. If I did something that was gonna get me in trouble at home it was gonna get me in trouble over there.
Hmm. That's a
Uh-huh.
that's a good thing.
Hmm. Yeah, my stepmom was the best. She was really like when you say bonus mom,
Hmm.
she
Okay.
was a real bonus mom
So
for
that's not
sure.
always the case. That's
Was
great.
I
there any
know.
physical discipline? Did she beat you if you needed to be beat?
But my dad didn't beat me.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so beating wasn't in any home.
Mm.
There you
My
go.
mom, my mom, my mom subscribed to the corporal punishment. But after we got a certain age, I think Neil, you might have got a beating in our house
Honey,
for
I got a
certain
couple of
topics.
them. I think she beat me. I'm like, wait, I'm not your child. Wait.
Hilarious.
But after a certain age, that
Mhm.
wasn't a thing.
Right.
Hmm.
Leanne, for you, any corporal punishment in your home?
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
She said, oh,
Now,
yeah.
so I know I had a stepdad, and I remember my mother wanted him to discipline us,
Mm,
Mm.
and he just didn't feel it was something he wanted to do. So
mm.
he would come in, or that maybe that we needed. He parented differently.
Okay.
And we would go in the room, and he would hit his hand with the belt. Like, go to bed.
Oh,
Never would beat us.
oh,
Not one time. We just wouldn't do it. He just would be like,
wow.
and
That's
he did it
funny.
for
Mm,
her. I guess he didn't want to argue with her about it.
right,
Yeah.
I
right.
remember the first time I'm like, he a big dude. Just like, it's gonna hurt like God. Dang, he gonna leave skin. He is pop, pop, like he warming his hand up. This is crazy. Go to bed.
Wow.
So yeah, so he just wouldn't do it. He just wasn't.
Wow. That's
But he
great.
didn't. I guess he didn't want to argue with her about it, so he would go through the motions and not. So we were like,
Mm,
that was a good thing he did. We liked him for that.
that was a very good thing.
Yes.
Yes, that was crazy. Any step parents, Leanne? Boogie,
Uh
we're not doing this. We're not.
she
We
said,
hear you.
let her sleep and live her best life. Um yeah, step parents. Um but never I never got disciplined by my
Okay,
step parent. I always got disciplined by my mom.
gotcha.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
All
They left it to
discipline
your mother.
always went through her.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
How did
Mhm.
so for like I said, he he parent. I mean, he would say if we did something wrong, he would tell us not to do certain things. Um, Ruth, how about you?
Well, the early years when living with my bio mom, there were a lot of step dudes, I'll call them, coming in and
Mhm.
out. They weren't
The uncle,
step dads.
the uncles.
Step
Yeah, yeah,
dudes.
uncles, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so like on the fence with this whole topic, because they were the ones that beat us mercilessly.
Mm.
For what? For everything, right?
Mhm.
And that's what led to grandmom and grandpop getting guardianship
Coming
because of
saving the
those
day,
beatings by
right?
these dudes. So
Mhm.
crazy,
And
crazy.
that's the other thing with the bio parent.
Mhm.
You got to protect your children, and
Mhm.
before you just allowed any of these
Mhm.
randos involved in your child's life, you really need to vet them
Exactly.
extra. Like whatever you did before, go 4 times over that,
Hmm.
so you don't have that type of situation. That's
Yeah,
tough.
that was tough. And then to
So
leave
how do
that
you see?
situation,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, and then have grandmom take over the corporal punishment.
Now we know.
She did it with love. She did it with love. We'll say that.
Is really? Can you do it with love?
Well, it felt different. I'll say that. But yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Hmm.
Mhm.
I was watching something, and the gentleman was saying that he doesn't call his kids stepchildren.
Mhm.
He said he feels like that's a divide in the
Mm.
home, so he
Hmm.
calls them his son or daughter.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Definitely he has a conversation with the with the other parent, and then contingent upon the age of the child. Also, if they're older, have a hey, do you feel comfortable if I introduce you? I'm not going to say this is my stepchild. I'm going to say, or not, this is not her child. I'm going to say this is my son,
Mm.
Mhm. Mhm.
because he said, I'm all in. Right. Again, it goes back
Mm-hmm.
to treating them like your own. He said, I can't
Mm-hmm.
really treat you like your own if the designation before your name is Steph.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We're already having a divide. So how would you feel about how do you feel about that? Do you think that that's something that should be done, could be done, case by case basis?
Case by case basis.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more,
Mm-hmm.
Leanne.
Uh, cause not everybody, not every kid gonna like they step parent like that
Mm.
to feel comfortable. They might have issues with calling another person just dad that's not their dad.
So I'll say one thing. He never said, and I don't know what if I don't know. He said what he calls them when he introduced them. He didn't say that they had to do anything.
Oh, okay.
No, he didn't say like they got to call me dad. No, that definitely could be
That's
right, especially
different.
if their
Mhm.
own parent is around. So no, but he said for him, he didn't introduce the child as his stepchild. Like if he was out hey Leanne, this is my
Yeah,
son.
still, if I don't like you, don't call me your child.
Hey, like the other dude said, don't eat my food, no problem.
Yeah, I
You don't like
mean,
me, don't use my water.
Right.
It's cool. We don't have to like each other. You know what I mean? Don't
you
say, I
know,
don't know how you get in school. You're not gonna ride in my car. It's okay. I don't like you either. So
I'm with Leanne. I think that there has to be an agreement between the child, depending on the age, of course, but between the
yes,
child
yes.
and that parent wanting to do that, they have to be on the same page about it.
especially if the kid,
Mm-hmm.
if the child has uh daddy or mommy issues already, feeling some type of way that they can't be with the other parent, and now this person's coming in calling you their child. Like, no, I don't want to be your child. I want my biological person calling me their child or being in my life, whatever the case may be.
So then, what is that child calling that person? I mean, that's a big thing too. What is the distinction? What are you calling them? Are you calling them Bob? I get it. Are you calling Mr. Jones? Okay.
Yep.
Or are you calling them stepdad? What are you calling them? How do you have to refer to them? Sometimes it's not up to you. You know, sometimes the parent wants it to be such a family so much. You know, call them dad, call them stepdad.
Yeah, you
that's the
shouldn't
hill.
force that.
That's not okay.
You
Yeah.
shouldn't force that.
That's the hill
Yeah,
I'll
but
die
they do.
on.
They do. Because
That
again, I think that, and not real fast, Lane, I think that so it's one of those things tough because if they're Mr. John, then it should always be Mr. John. Because when do they come dad? You know, when just because you guys got closer, does the name change? No, so I don't know. You got to figure out what it's going to look like. What are you laughing at, Doc?
I was just thinking about the post that I think it was posted in our group, and somebody might have got it off Instagram, where the guy said he disciplined his stepson, and he said he went into the room to
Making a rap
apologize.
about him.
He was making a rap called "You Not My Daddy." I thought that was hilarious.
That is hilarious.
So you guys
That's
really
what
feel
kids
like there
do.
should be a conversation about what to call them.
Yes.
I do. They're people. If they're old enough to handle that convo, definitely give that respect both ways.
When does it change? Like, does it change ever to be, like I said, become, say, first, this is Mr. Mr. Take Care of Me at Night. And then at a certain point,
it might not ever change. Even if the feelings change, you just might not. I called my stepmother by her first name. Always, from the day my dad introduced me to her. You know, when they first got together or whatever, that was I think I might have been about 6 years old, and I 5 or 6 years old, and I called her by her first name all the way up until I was an adult. But I loved her like she was a mom.
Right. Hey, Ruth over there judging you.
But I'm reacting because I think that's interesting that it didn't change. You called her by her first name. Listen,
interesting means I'm judging you.
No. With respect, Doc,
I don't pay him no attention.
I'm not. I'm trying not, but it's hard. With respect, right, to her, and you were so close that was still acceptable. I find that very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting means I'm judging you. She said that was
Shut up there.
It is not a judgment. How does he get that? How do you get that from that?
Where are you raised?
And it is interesting coming from it. Shut up, Daryl. It is interesting coming from the generation we come from, where you don't call adults by their first name.
Yes,
right.
So I know it's interesting. It's interesting by
that way. Yes,
that was a judgment.
But I've always called her by her name from the day I met her.
And my question to you, Doc, is let's ignore what he's saying. My question to you is: did your dad ever want that to change in a different way? Did he want a different title for her from you?
Like, did he want you to be more respectful to this adult?
Nobody said it wasn't respectful, Doc.
Yeah, nobody said it wasn't respectful. She did not think it was disrespectful.
No, she didn't. I'm saying Bruce does. That's interesting. I can't believe they allowed you to do that. Did they ever want you to change?
And my stepson calls me by my first name, but my stepdaughter calls me Miss. And I would love it if they both called me Mom.
Right.
Interesting.
But we haven't had that conversation. But I know that the way they address me doesn't mean they don't love me.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll ship this to them so they'll see this. Okay. We're gonna get them to know that you need to call them Mom.
It doesn't change the feeling.
No. Now, how about if they did call you? I remember a situation where the kid was calling we'll say the stepmom mom, but the bio mom got upset. That ain't your mom. Every time she would say, like, Dad was with Mom, and my mom, that ain't your mom. That's your bad girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could be a problem for some.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It could be. I mean, now, should it be? Would I get upset if my daughter calls someone else dad? Hell yeah.
See? Is there judgment there, Daryl?
It could be right. You can look. He could be dad. You could be dead or whatever.
He could be dead. You said? What'd you say? I didn't hear what you said. I didn't hear. What'd you say? I could be dad, or he could be dead. I mean, that's a little extra.
Now, how is that fair, Daryl? What if he's good to her, nice to her, and they have a great relationship? How's that okay?
How's what okay?
For her not to, if she decides that she can, call him dad as well or daddy. Why is that a bad thing? She knows you're her dad.
If she called, I think I failed somewhere. If she called another man dad, I failed. I would have failed if she had done that. So, yeah, you did something wrong.
Okay,
that's all right. When she be grown, she gonna be calling him daddy.
Again, that means you failed again. That means you failed again.
You failed big one there, right?
Yeah, you failed twice. It means you weren't. She should have called you by your first name because you weren't a father. Yeah. If that happened, I'd be so hurt.
Oh, but I think Doc is right on some levels. I think sometimes we get too wrapped up in these titles, and as long as the love is there and the reciprocation is there and the relationship is good, I don't know. The titles, I mean, they have to be in agreement at some point.
So you want someone else to call your kids to call someone else's mom, Ruth? Please stop with this kumbaya stuff.
No, but if they're
no, there it is. We're done.
No, but if they're living with them part-time and they're caring for them, I may have to really think about that for a minute.
What you got to think about? You just thought about it. They're living with them. They're caring. They're taking care of them well. They're really good to them. They call them mom. Is it a problem?
What if my kid just wanted to say my mom? They're calling them my mom.
No, I didn't ask you that. No, we didn't ask you that. Okay.
Well, you don't call the dad dead. At least I didn't dead her.
Right.
Well, because I could be honest. I wouldn't like it. Okay.
I wouldn't like honest.
It. No, you're not. You're dancing around. They called another woman mom. They were, hey, mom, we were at mom this weekend. Would you be upset?
For a minute. For a minute, let it digest, and then maybe I come to some other decision. Seriously.
Yeah, nah. I'm not okay with that. I'm not. Maybe. I'm not cool. I wouldn't be cool with it. So, yeah, I wouldn't be cool with it. But I wouldn't mind my daughter.
You know what though? that is, some of my hesitation, because I've thought about having that conversation with them several times.
Right.
Like, yo, you can call me mom. It's not a big, I love you. You can, but the hesitation has been, now are they going to feel obligated? Or are they going to feel like I'm hurt if they don't? Or so I just, if they decide at some point, I'm with it. But I don't think that I'm going to press the issue.
Yes.
So, I never really thought about it. You just said, I think if a kid did it on their own free will, they just started saying, calling that person that because they felt that way. Can I really trip? As long as I don't think they were goaded or made to do it.
Right.
Because sometimes, depending on the age of the child, if the person is acting as such, what they feel a mom or a dad is, they may call them that because this is what they feel their person is acting like. And I can't get upset with that because that would also let me know that whoever is around is doing right by that child. For the most part, I would feel that if they're making that distinction. So I don't know if I still wouldn't like it. I'm lying.
You lied a lot better than I did.
I really felt like I would be okay. And then I really thought about it. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't.
That was my point though, Daryl, because we want them to be cared for in that person's care. That was the main thing.
Right. And again, I think a step parent's main job is just to love the child, right? That's your main job, independent and love through the hard times, the difficult times, the you're not my mom, you're not my dad times, all of that, to love through that. Because you have to understand it is difficult for the child. And I think sometimes the rebellious spirit will come out because they do like you, but then they do like their own parent as well, and they feel stuck. I can't like this person, So it's wow. It's interesting.
That can happen too. You're right. That conflict, that that internal conflict. I really like this person, but should I really like this person?
Right.
Am I being disloyal to my bio parent by liking this person?
Right.
Tricky stuff there.
It is. But at the end, like I said, at the end of the day, it's like, so now what is your role? Other than, you really want to love them. I think, a conversation needs to be had with the parent to see what roles, what is allowed and what isn't allowed. And I think another thing that becomes tricky is when you're saying things, because sometimes as an outsider, people are biased about their kids. The kids are great. They're the greatest things ever. They do everything great. And they're probably not that great in the real world, right? In your eyes. But as a step parent, sometimes you can see things, like, hey, maybe maybe the teacher isn't lying this time that they were acting up. And if that parent can't hear you, automatically defends the kid, you might want to get away from that relationship as well. And not saying, just saying like they can't even hear what you're saying. Sometimes you can point out some things. So if you don't really have say in what your observations are, and you're just dismissed, you might not want to be a part of that. Because then it's really kid over you, and it's not. You should be a front. Like you don't want to give the kid more rope to also disrespect you. Yeah, stepmom, fuck you too.
Now, if you tell your partner that and they laugh like we just did,
what you mean laugh? They're like, my kid wouldn't do that. My kid wouldn't cuss at you. They don't even cuss. They wouldn't cuss at you.
I've seen some Lifetime shows like that.
Now they're saying you lied on a kid. They would never cuss. They wouldn't cuss you out like that. So then you might want to get up out of there because that becomes
always be a thing. Yep,
it's always going to be a thing.
Always,
and it shows that and then that's going to make that kid more of a monster because if their parent is on their side and you're basically a stranger, you're gonna do what you want. Hey, go give some Cheerios, bitch.
Oh Lord!
What you say? Did you say?
Oh Lord!
I did.
Oh my goodness.
And then you can't really choke other people's kids. That doesn't really go well. Choking other people's kids.
Wow.
And they're standing there talking about, I didn't say that. I
Right.
didn't say that.
Right.
He's picking on me. Picking on
Yeah.
She always picking on me.
right.
Then
As soon
now
as they walk out that room, they turn right back into it.
I told you, wouldn't believe you.
Unbelievable.
Now here's one. I was watching something, and it was this guy was with this woman. Her baby was like 1 at the time. She had a baby by somebody else. He came in as stepfather. He was with them, I think, about till she was like 12 or 13. They split. There was a DV incident. The dad, I think, the stepdad went to jail a little bit, but anyway, he no longer talked to the mother. But the daughter and he kept in contact with each other. She would, ask for money certain times. Now he'd never seen her or anything, but if she asked for anything, he would give it to her.
Oh wow!
The mom took him to court, and she said she didn't want him. She said she didn't want him to have she didn't want him to have any contact with her daughter. She said she was afraid for her daughter's life because what he did to her was not okay, and she doesn't want him to have any contact with the daughter. Now he wasn't seeing the daughter. He was just sending her money through Cash App when she asked. Wasn't like they had a relationship, that they were talking on the phone or anything like that. But he said in court, he's like, look, I knew this little girl since she was 1, 2 years old. And she don't have a father. So when she calls and asks for something, or she emails me or texts me, she got it. And he said it doesn't usually be a lot of money either. He said maybe most, maybe $150 or something like that. It wasn't like he sent her $1,000. Sometimes she wants $30, $40, something to get something, whatever it was. He said, but if she asked, I would send, knowing that she had no male in her life, and I just wanted, just because me and her mother no longer are together, I didn't want to, just leave her. So what do you think about that? Do you think that that's okay to stay in contact with the child after the relationship is over? And the child is older too. So I think she's like 14 at the time now, 14, 15. So it's not like she's younger.
Oh no, that's a tough situation. Because he's been in her life like a father all those years.
Right.
So, but what was I want to know mom's reason for cutting that tie. Like, why would you?
We don't know why women are petty. She was mad that he wasn't talking to her anymore.
We forgot that one reason.
Yeah,
he was mad. She was upset because and then it came out in the trial. He's like, man, listen, I haven't talked to her in years. He said at least 2 to 3 years. I haven't talked to the mom. I haven't seen the mom. He said, I don't respond to her when she emails me. He said, I wouldn't have seen her. The only reason I'm even seeing her today is because I'm here in court. If I was here in court, it'd be 4 years I didn't see her. And then he disclosed, he was like, well, look, she did write me one time and said, could you send the money to me and not to my daughter? And then he said, I'm going to just send it to her. And then she said, well, don't send her no more money. And Christmas is coming up. And if you want to buy some gifts, just let me know. So the judge at that point felt as though first the girl was a little older, so she's going to make her own decisions, right?
Okay, because mom is being petty.
Mom is being petty because the judge said you can't be afraid of anything if you're asking for Christmas gifts.
Right.
You're asking this man for money.
Right. But she just wants the money directly to her. Not the daughter.
Not the daughter.
Okay.
And he said, I think
it's messed because up. He's not in a relationship with mom. She's saying you can't have a relationship with my daughter.
Right.
That's what she was saying. That's what she wanted. She wanted a restraining order.
Yeah, that's not cool.
So again, but let's say, is it okay to stay in contact with the child, especially if you've been in their life for a long period of time, if you're not there anymore with them?
I mean, I think if the other parent, the biological parent, doesn't want you to, I mean, you don't really have a choice but to abide by that.
You do have a choice if the child is older. If the child is 14, 13, 14, 15 with their own phone, how do you, because if, like the judge said, you should tell your daughter to stop contacting him.
That sounds great. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Right?
yeah.
And she
But out
said,
of respect too, if you know that you're not the bio parent and you know that the parent don't want you contacting their kids and you're not together with them anymore, I mean, out of respect, you might want to just not contact the kid.
so for me, I would say, no, the kid is still contacting me as I've been in their life this entire time. Me
Mm.
cutting them off is actually more detrimental than your little petty feelings.
Mm.
Because now you have someone just walking out of their lives and may not understand why, because you don't get to tell them why. So you tell them, I can't contact you anymore because your mother don't want me to talk to you anymore. You know what I mean? It's tough.
It is very tough. And
I would like to be a lifelong connection. If the child wants me around, and I'm not saying picking them up and taking them out, but if they're saying, hey, look, I need $30 here.
mm,
Now, I
that's
would think that picking them up and stuff might be a little bit more. That might be problematic, right? If you're picking a child up and hanging out with them, that to me would be a bit much.
but Doc's right.
What?
I mean, you're gonna have to abide by that rule of that parent legally. I don't even if
Really
they're a
don't.
little bit older, they're not 18.
It doesn't. You can't. If you say don't call my child, cool. I'm not calling. Your child's calling me. If you can't control your child, you can't tell me to now be the one that
Right.
cuts it off. You can't even control your own child.
But you can't send her money. If the mother's saying you can't send it, you can't.
I can't. Here you go. Watch this. Bling is in her cash app. I just sent it.
but now you run the risk of looking like you're grooming the kid or something.
It
Again,
has
if
a
that's where your mind goes, right? Cool. Because we all have these things.
Because that's what happens. And the question is, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you not to contact my kid, my daughter, you grown man, why are you still accepting her calls? Why are you still sending her money?
Mm.
What's
I
your
knew her since
purpose?
she was 1 year old and she's 14.
Okay, so she big enough now.
This is hey, pay attention, fella. This is the sickness of women. So if
I
it was a little boy,
Speaking
it was
hypothetically, she's right. Hypothetically, yes.
anything
I
that can happen. So you know what? Go ahead, Lynn. I'm sorry.
I've seen this firsthand where
Here we go.
um
Pay attention, fellas.
where
Watch this.
a man not friend of the family, but a family member wife the woman with kids.
Mm.
The youngest uh was 2 or still in Pampers,
Mm-hmm.
and they carried out their relationship, wound up splitting up, but he continued to see the kids even though their relationship was over because he had spent so much time with them.
Okay.
And
Can we ask how much time? Sorry. Do we know how much time it was?
I believe it was like 8 or 9 years.
Okay. Okay.
And actually I think it was longer than that, but anyway, kept the relationship with the kids regardless of the fact, and anytime that they need money or whatever the case may be, he would be there to help out and give them money and make sure they was all right,
Mm-hmm.
and talk to them when they wanted somebody to talk to and stuff like that. So I don't see a problem with the situation that you just explained. To me, I think would be a healthy thing to continue a bond with a child that you've had a bond with for such a long time. I
Mm-hmm.
know our minds go straight to the negative
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that, but it's really instrumental to have that other person in their life. So whether it's a mother figure or a father figure, is important to have both. So if the guy is there to go ahead and be that support, I
Mhm.
don't see anything wrong with it.
And I agree with both of you. I think that it would be the healthiest thing, but if the other parent doesn't want it, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yep.
Right. Bling, Cash App filled.
Yeah.
I mean, and age is definitely, something, because the younger they are, you don't have the ability to contact them, right? But then as they get older, you do lose some. Like the judge said, I was once 15, 16, and my mom told me not to do a lot of things. So at a certain point, it's going to be what it's going to be. But again, I think that, knowing the person you're with is very important. And if you had somebody around 8 years, 9 years, 14 years, and you broke up because it didn't work, or maybe whatever happened, and it wasn't something that was with the kids, or you never felt that there was any problem with the kids, I don't know if I would just dead that relationship. Right. I would definitely say that it may be different. You may not be able to hang out like you used to and things of that nature, but phone calls, sharing pictures, maybe sending money, I wouldn't trip over that. I wouldn't trip over that. Because like Leanne said, you never know. Having good people in a child's life is always good, especially if someone that was there especially if they were there from a young age. They know this kid, and they were in the case that we were talking about. She didn't know her father at all. This was the only father she knew. This
So what did mom ever say, what her beef was?
Because she said, there was some domestic violence that I think
Okay.
must have ended the relationship. I think it was domestic violence, and then he admitted, it was at a bad place. It did happen. We're not together anymore. I think this was like 3 years out at this point. He said, I don't have anything to do with her. I moved on, better my life, got myself together. I don't speak to her. She has been reaching out to me. And he provided emails where she was reaching out, and it seemed like she didn't get the answer she wanted. And that's why, because, first you're like, okay, well, but then when you see other things where she was asking for money, and he's like, if she's so afraid of me, why she asked for Christmas money?
Yeah, and I think for mom, she missed out where she could be in the loop on what the kid's doing and the conversation that's going on between the two. Now you're having the kid resort to doing stuff behind your back and being left out of the loop on things that's going on. So if they are red flags, now you don't even know about it.
That's true.
Right.
She's isolated now.
But I kind of understand mom somewhat, because I don't know how bad the incident was, or was it incidents, that led to the parting. So I could understand she could still have some resentment, because she knows what happened to her. She knows what when that happened, how it happened, and she could still be feeling some type of way. So very interesting. But I thought that was very interesting to think about and that's another problem with being a step parent sometimes, is that you could lose that child. Once that relationship is over, you definitely could lose that child that you grew close to, that you took to games, that you did their hair, you had conversations, you grew this awesome bond, and the relationship didn't work out. Now, not only are you grieving the loss of a romantic relationship, you are grieving the loss of a child.
Yep.
So there are a lot of, it is being a step parent, which, like I said, especially today, older you get, more people have kids, it's tough. And I think people need to think about that when they're getting into relationships with people with kids. And people with kids need to think about, before you introduce someone to your children, to make sure, because you don't want people coming in, and you don't want a whole bunch of uncles.
Uncle no, you don't.
It's Uncle Johnny. You definitely don't want that either.
Or aunts.
Yeah, or aunts. Right. Sometimes they have uncle and aunts. You just be confused. Like,
yes.
True.
Or maybe Uncle Tony looks like an uncle and an aunt. You just don't know.
You just don't want that.
You just don't know.
None of
hey, Lee, can you play one of the videos, please?
Anyone?
Yes, please.
You bring kids
See,
into a
okay.
step-parent family, they do not do as well. Step parents are not as good parents as biological parents, and the data on that is clear. Now, obviously, there are exceptions because there are terrible biological parents and there are wonderful step parents. But if you look in aggregate, it's not that easy to care for children. You need everything you can binding you to them. And if there's someone else's children, mostly they get in the way of the person that you love, right? Let's say you have a child and I want to go out with you. Every second you spend with that child is the second you don't spend with me.
Oh my.
And there's going to be a price for that. I'm not going to be happy about that. And if I have a child, you're going to feel exactly the same way. You might say, well, no, I love children. It's like, yeah, sure you do. I doubt it. You might love your child. And it's pretty specific the way that people love children.
What do we feel about that? I heard Ruth over there having, I'm not sure what's going on. Stomach hurt. I'm not sure what was going on. You okay?
He was getting on my nerves. I'm sorry. He had to stop.
What do you feel about that, Ruth?
I mean, he was just going on a weird tangent about, step parents and saying things like step parents cannot be good parents. I mean, where do you make that? I did hear that.
He did say that.
He did say that.
He said the numbers prove that step parents aren't as good parents, as good.
Right.
So, okay. And we're
thought about that. I mean, he was a believer, numbers or not. You could tell he was believing it. I just think he was way off about you're not going to, every moment spent with that child, that person with their child is a moment not spent with you.
Is that not true?
That's their child. I don't care if it's true.
Wait a minute. But it's still the facts, right? Even me now, when dating, right? That's a big thing. You can't just date and see a person anytime you want, because if I'm with my child, I can't invest time with you. So now, say before that, you have a relationship, you get to see each other pretty regularly, you can get to know the person. But now you're maybe seeing each other depending on, you got work, your children, you may be able to see each other once a week. So now it's now taking even longer for you to get to know this person, right? So if I don't have a child, to now have to dance around with somebody who does, I might not want to do it because it's just you don't have the time.
But
and I've seen that in myself. So what he was saying, actually right on par with that. You're like, God, I can't tonight. I got it.
But again, doesn't that have to be understood at the door? Because
that's why the door, they keep moving. That's why it's a problem.
I mean, the child might be able to spend time with their other bio parent when you're out on your date. There's some things you can work out if you communicate.
But it's still, you have to jump through hoops. If you think about two single people can just kind of move a lot differently than if you have anything. Even if sometimes you have a dog, it can be tough. I gotta go home and let the dog out. Right. But so this is why you may or may not want to be involved with the person with a whole bunch going on, and a child. So that what he's saying is not too far off, right? It is something that, and
it's only far off if you don't consider the facts of what that means for dating somebody with a child.
That's why they don't. That's what he's saying. So that makes it tough because I don't want to jump through hoops. I want to see you pretty regularly or when we can, or, and that's another thing in a way of us seeing each other. I don't like when I just met you, I don't care about your child right now. So I don't have any. And I don't know you like that, so I don't know if I want to invest.
And don't date a person with a child. And don't date a person with a child, because they
don't. That's why it's difficult. That's what he's saying. It's difficult.
Okay, then that's fine if you know that and you don't do it that way. Fine, but don't do it and then resent it.
So hey, women and men, wear something on your head that said you have a child, so I don't stop and talk to you.
They need to do that up front.
Right. So that's what he's saying. So you don't have to so you don't go through this, right? So you don't have to deal with it. So I don't think he's saying anything outside the norm. I mean, that was. But so he was
making it sound like it's so impossible to do. Like I said, if you communicate, you work things out, you schedule things, you can still date a person viably with a child. We outlined through the program the difficulties of just being a step parent. Yes, so now you're saying what he's saying is wrong. He's saying that it is difficult. It does come with, like you said, a lot of understanding. But it's possible. That's what I mean.
Anything's possible. It's possible for me to jump out of a plane and land on my feet and not die. But I'm saying that it does happen. Oh, it is. I seen it on That's Incredible. Somebody their parachute didn't open and they hit the ground, bounced twice, and they got up and walked away. It's crazy. But no, he's saying that I think it's people should know that, right? No, it is really difficult to date.
I agree with that.
Even if you have your own, you both have children, right? Because that's another schedule. That's another person outside of your home that may be involved in your relationship. If their other parent is involved, it is difficult. So, like you said, you need to understand it's not going to be as easy.
No,
that the person
I agree with that.
Depending on how much time they spend with their child, it's going to be can be very difficult.
But that could also be looked as a value. I mean, somebody that's there for their child, and they may be a better person than somebody that doesn't take that job seriously. You can look at that another way.
Okay.
You can. I'm just saying it's possible.
And you know what? You better that you got less time than most.
But it's not just about time.
What's it about then, Ruth?
The person, your character, the person, who they are.
I can't know your character. How am I know your character? I only see you once a week.
You better get it all in once a week then and make sure we understand each other.
I mean, who dating more than that anyway? Right? I mean, who seeing somebody more than that when they dating?
Yes. I don't understand what's wrong with you guys. If I'm trying to date you, I'm trying to see you as much as possible.
What's much as possible? What's the number?
Again, as much as possible.
Daryl want to see you every single day.
Why wouldn't I? I'm confused.
Wow.
Don't you want to eat every day? Yes. I want to get to know you. I need to be able to see you. If I'm seeing you once a week, I don't get to know you. That's because you guys ain't been dating in a while. Y'all ain't been
get out of our face.
Even when I was dating, that's a lie.
That's it. No. Okay. So listen. Just because you saw one person once a week, but how many people did you see during that week? That's the question. Now what?
He always goes back to that.
I know.
Now what? Now what? That's the problem. If I'm only seeing you once a week, there's 7 other people to defend that team. Okay, this is the problem. So if you only got once a week for me, then it's not gonna work. I'm cool.
But Daryl, you said it yourself. The other time they have work responsibility, they have family responsibility, they have other stuff besides just you.
Quit. I need somebody to make time. If you can't make time, then what are we doing? What are we doing?
You're right.
I don't understand. What's the point of being with somebody or trying to be with somebody? See them once a week. That doesn't make. That means I don't really want to be with you. I don't want to know you if I only see you once a week.
No, but life gets in there, Daryl. Life gets life in there. Come on now.
Yeah, your life is so busy where you only see me once a week, then you won't see me anytime a week. I'm moving on.
A mess.
Leanne, what do you think? Once a week is enough or no?
Once a week is my initial response when I say it's cool. It's fine. Like that's my initial response. Like once a week, because you do got stuff going on. Yes. You got work. You got to get off work. You got stuff to take care of around the house. You know, you just and this is coming from somebody without kids. So it's like you still have a lot going on.
Yes.
You don't need to date. You don't need to date. You shouldn't be dating. If you only got one day a week, then you don't need to date.
I don't know why that's not sufficient.
Can it be quality over quantity?
Right.
In the beginning, I don't understand why we need to go more than once a week.
You know what? You know what it is? Because people don't really enjoy your companies. I get it.
You know what?
I am trying to learn what it is. Because if I really enjoy your company, I'm like, hey, when can we do this again? I hope I can see you again soon. Yeah. Next month. You free next
Get
month?
out of here, stalker.
You a stalker, right?
I don't understand.
Restraining order.
Once a week? Wait.
No, I'm just talking about modern day dating because back in the day we did see each other a lot. But I'm talking about
modern day dating, Bruce. How do you know?
What?
I'm
talking about now.
You saw each other a lot because you had to go to school every day.
we didn't go to the same schools, but I'm saying back then, I think there was a different mentality about how often is enough. And
I think the same mentality. If you like someone, you're going to want to see this.
Most people today don't want to see you more than 2 times a week.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's nobody I know don't want to see me on a regular basis.
Oh my gosh.
Regular.
Stalkers draw stalkers. You know that, right?
Well, then you like mine, think alike then.
So they want to see you more than once a week because they just as stalkerish as you.
Well, I done found the right person.
Stalker-ish.
I done found Miss Stalker. Okay,
that's a good thing for you both.
For real.
For me, I think that you want to see and be around the person if they're interested.
Yes, I'm not saying you don't want to, but life might not allow it all the time.
Ruth, I get that. And that means if you're that busy, you don't need to be around anyone.
Why the extreme?
Not the extreme. Because
that is an extreme, all or nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Well, it is
if you don't have more than once a week, then you don't need to date at all.
That's not fair.
It does. You're dating with a purpose. I'm not dating just to have a filler on Wednesdays. So what are we talking about? Yeah, just for Wednesday.
Okay, but then Daryl, can your dates look different? Can you date together while you do chores? That's a date. Okay, I got to do the house chores. Come on over while
all I said was seeing each other. Wherever what's the scenario?
It doesn't have to be a formal thing. Okay.
No. It could be, hey, maybe I'm gonna come and see you at lunch, or whatever the case may be.
I need to know where you are all the time.
That's what that translates to, right?
I'm gonna come see you at lunch, and then I'm gonna come meet you at your mama's house.
And you better be there.
When you're attentive, it's a problem.
Attentive. That's the word now.
The tracker said you was at your mom's house. I'm about to come through.
Go by, see the car.
But then, so if they have children, how do you ever get to the point where you can, you have to find a way to move the relationship forward at a certain point. One day a week, you're kidding me, 35 before you meet them. I don't know. This is weird.
I hear you, but it may not always be possible. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying this again. And there's ways around things too. You know what I mean? There's ways to do things. Even if you want to see each other quickly for a hug or something. There's ways to do it. Fellas, this is what we talk about. Chivalry is dead. This is why you talk about nice.
I've been married too long. I've just been married too long, girl. That's all. I just need a break every now and again.
Can I meet you for a hug? A hug.
I said that to my husband. I just hugged you last night.
Like, where are you? You made me want a hug. Where are you?
Hey, I'm out front. A little tainted, maybe.
Doc, I'm out front. I'm in the bush in the corner of your house. Is the bush
right? Exactly. That's the image that pops up. Look out your window.
Oh my goodness. We're just trying to. Hey, Leanne, can put that another video on. We're just trying to do something.
To the wrong one. I've been married.
We're trying to do something nice and spontaneous and something to show we're thinking about you.
That's sweet.
And we're getting laughed at. Dude, this is why everybody.
The blended family thing could be crazy, especially when it comes to the step parent situation. I hear so many times that women will say, the guy got to accept me and accept my children, and I want him to treat my children as if they were his. You know what I mean? And it's funny. It's always like that when it comes to the step parents supporting the child or the child benefiting or getting what they want. But then when it comes to issues of discipline, all of a sudden, it's like you got enough privilege to provide for my child, but you don't have enough privilege to discipline them. Correct. And then when the biological parent disagrees with what you call that, the discipline, all of a sudden now it's my child. So I say you let the biological parents discipline. You know what I mean? And just like my barber said, ain't nothing worse than a child eating a mouthful of groceries you bought. Talking about, you ain't my daddy. Yo, the blended.
Oh,
Mm,
you ain't my daddy.
So I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier. It does it creates a divide, right? When you
It can.
when you don't let that other parent discipline. And to me, discipline would be even, maybe telling them like not to do something, get down or go get in timeout, something like that's all discipline to me.
Yes.
I think
yes.
if you're in that home, you should be able to say you have a timeout because you did something wrong or whatever the case may be. I would want whoever I'm with to also reflect to discipline how I discipline my child as well, so we can be on that even front and there is no divide. So because for me, it's like when I'm not here, say someone's with Zoriana, I would want them to parent the same way and her understand that nothing changed. That's my ideal.
I totally agree.
Yes, because children need structure. Even if you and the other parent are at odds and being stupid, your kids still need some structure.
Absolutely.
They still need discipline. They still need, consistency.
Right. I agree with all of it. Just do not touch my child. Do not physically, please touch my child.
You ain't in my home. I'm gonna do what I want. And what?
No. We see. We got to come on the same accord on that one. But you're right. The other forms of discipline, yes.
Ain't no same accord. I'm gonna send you a video. They were acting up. Watch this.
Nope.
Don't do it again.
What's that show called? Women in Jail? Women in Cells?
Yeah, cool. Hey, listen. Come over and get locked up. Now they all mine.
Don't touch my child.
And that's the problem. And really, the honest thing is you have no control over that. It's not much you can do. Unless they're doing something outside the realm, nothing you can do but be mad.
But let's just, as adults, try to talk about the other forms that
I'm not talking. I'm not with you. We're not together. Nothing to talk about.
We have the same child. We share the child. So
guess what? We share when he's at your home or she's at your home. You do what you want.
Do not.
You got to have more consistency than that, because it really does breed. It breeds a lot of difficulty with the child, even though we may not think so. Psychologically, even if they're not talking about it, it breeds some difficulty, and it could breed resentment for the parent who's not as lenient as the other parent.
Well, that's fine.
If we smoking weed in your house and I go to the other parent house and we not allowed, like what? Why? I smoke weed at daddy's house. Like why is it a big deal here?
So really, because kids or people know you can do different things in different environments.
Very true. But
so, house is different because there's rules and regulations everywhere you go. If I go in a courthouse, I know I have to act a certain way.
Of course there are. And there are situations where the parents can't get on board and the kids adapt. But the healthiest way to do this is to have consistency in as close as you can in both homes. That's the healthiest way. People do it all kinds of ways. And like I said, kids will adapt.
Right.
But it's not the best for them.
It's not the best for me to deal with that woman that I won't be with already.
You had the baby with her, so
exactly. You picked
lay down with it.
You picked her.
Exactly. And now I've got rid of her. I also got rid of her. I picked her and then I got rid of her.
But you have a commonality. That's your child.
Excuse me.
Exactly. And I don't need her. Again, what happens when she's with her is going to be different than what happens with me. We're just different people. So it may not be this kumbaya that we want. Like Doc is saying, nothing she's saying is wrong. Like it would be ideal if you could both be on the same page and do the same things in different homes and run the homes exactly the same, like you guys are together. But guess what? We're not together.
Well, it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but there are like certain structures, value systems, and rules that I think that, I don't know, I was going to say most people can abide by or agree on, but again, that's not always the case.
Right,
because you might allow your kids to curse at you and the other parent is not having it.
Right. And the kids will learn which ones they can do it with. Right. So I don't know if
they will adapt.
Right,
yes, they can adapt.
And if they think about it,
until they slip up and curse at the wrong parent.
Right. What if they missed it up?
And then what happens is they're going to learn today.
That's a shame.
That's
but
not
you
right.
put in that position by letting it go on in the other place.
Not at all. Because again, there's different rules for everywhere you go. That's no different than if you go to school and slip and cuss because you cuss at home. Then they're going to discipline you and you're going to learn not to do it, or you're going to keep doing it and get in trouble. No matter
But if
where
you
you're
can't
at.
curse nowhere, then
Right.
you don't curse nowhere. Or if you do, you get in trouble everywhere.
Right. So if you're only doing it at one home, that home is the problem.
So let's have a talk about that.
No,
They
that
can't keep
home
it
is the
straight.
problem. If a kid is not exhibiting things in two places,
But
then
no, why? How are they the problem if they said cursing in my house is cool? That's not a problem. They don't think it's a problem for them.
but okay, but again, if they're not doing it anywhere else but this home, then that's that problem there. They're not doing it in school. They're not doing it at other person's home.
Again, until they slip up because they just came from the weekend, a cursing every other sentence. Then they go to school and call a teacher a name, or
Right.
come to
So
your house
again,
and call you a name.
the problem is what? The home that allowed them to cuss, not school, not your home. That's on that home. Like now, are you saying that I should now say, since you cuss there, you can cuss here? No, we're not going to adopt that.
Not.
No, but you can't curse at anywhere.
But you can't get mad if
can't say that,
I'm saying you
because
can't get
other person may
mad
allow
if they curse at your house.
Huh? You say what? You said you can't get mad?
You get mad.
Yeah, you can, but
You can, because my rules here are different. So as for me, you have to, and this you need to teach your kid anyway, anybody, wherever you're at, you have to follow the rules of that place. You can't just say you want to do something because you can do it.
But why set your child up? Why?
What do you mean?
Why set them up like that?
Anywhere they go, the rules may be different. Just because, so you have to let them know outside of your home, regardless, when you go places, rules may be different. You may not be able to do what you do in this home, or you may be able to do something outside the home that you can't do here, right? That's anywhere they go in life. There's certain things that may be different. They have to learn to adjust to all situations. Everything's not going to be tailor-made for them, right? So
of course not. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm
big
saying.
things.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, the one place where it should be less turmoil is when you're at home. So
Right.
if
You're
you're
home.
home at both parents' house and it's consistent, then it would be easier on the child to not have to adjust all the time. I know that you saying that when you go out you have to adjust. That's great. But when I'm at parents' house, that's one place there should be some consistency.
It's not consistent because you're not together, right? So it's already inconsistent because you guys are not together. Like the relationship is not what it was. So it's
That
not.
doesn't make it
ideal.
inconsistent. You should have had a baby with somebody you had the same value system with, or
Right.
who had the same foundation that you have.
But again, even within that, say we even split up, we still may be different because again, when we're together, we compromise because we're in the same home, right? And we like each other. I like you, so I may adopt some of your values at that point. I may not. I may compromise because I like you at the time. I don't like you anymore. Nor did I really like
your values change because you don't like it no more.
Right.
Those three values go out the window.
Stupid. Your idea was stupid, and I'm not doing it anymore.
I didn't agree with those values in the first place. I was just pretending.
Right. I just agree. We compromise because I know sometimes you have to compromise with your partner. That's when you like them. You don't like them. You do not have to compromise with them anymore.
That's not true.
That is the whole basis of prenups, for real though. Because when you like each other, it's all great.
Yeah.
But most of the time when you are breaking up, you don't really like each other anymore.
Right.
Yes.
And you need to have your stuff protected.
You said you would never do that. That's when I liked you. I don't like you, so I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
I want half.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
for real.
That's tough. That's tough.
Ideally, anything where it could be similar would be okay. It would be but sometimes you can't.
It would just be easier on the kid. I agree with Doc. The kids have enough to deal with.
What do they have to deal with? You making their food, buying their clothes, video games. What they got to deal with?
They're
Well,
dealing with life and stuff too, Daryl.
Yeah, what do they got to deal
And
with?
then they
Bruce?
got to rewire. Oh, wait, I'm gonna be at my dad, so I can't say that, or I gotta be at my mom, so I can't do that. So
Bruce, they do that in every situation they're in anyway. They do it at school.
I
They do it
know,
with
and
friends.
it's a lot on kids too.
It's not a lot. It's just what it is to them.
It
That's all
is a
they know.
lot.
It's all it is. What kid is a lot to?
That's why kids are depressed at 13, Daryl. It is a
No,
lot.
yeah, they're depressed at 13 for a whole bunch of other reasons. But
And that's part of it too.
again, most ain't depressed. Most of them fine. Most are fine. Most are entitled little brats because they're getting.
Oh my goodness! All right,
they are kids.
The show
kids
is
are being
over.
entitled today.
We'll see y'all next week.
Those kids are entitled. What are you talking about?
Entitled little brats.
They
Daryl.
are. Kids are very entitled. See them in school.
Some kids may be, but they're still going through stuff.
What they going through, Bruce?
Excuse me?
What they going through?
Oh God!
Life.
You know what they're going through? I got the iPhone 12 and the 15 came out. I can't believe I don't got the 15 yet. With no job. My Zoyana got a 15 right now. I got 11.
Well, that's because you that parent and she got you.
Because like you said, Bruce, she was stressing. Yeah.
So that's a different kid. She got you.
15 came out. I need it.
Wow.
Easily defensive about your children's misbehavior and dismissive of the step parents' thoughts or ideas. Yeah, step parents are outsiders. They see things. They may come in and say, "Hey, look, I noticed your son's struggling with this. Can we help him get out of bed in the morning? Because it slows us all down when we're trying to get out the door." If you get defensive about your son, if you just dismiss everything that step parent says, the message is loud and clear.
Mm-hmm.
You are more aligned with your son than you are in the spouse in your marriage. That's going to create difficulties. And that's not the way it should be. I'm not saying the step parent's right. I just think you ought to give them some consideration, help them to be a part of the parenting team. You guys talk it through, decide together how you want to move forward. Biological parents.
Oh, this is easy. Fuck it. Let me be late for school. I'm going to work.
You know what?
You know, you try. But if you're going to be like, well, cool, you're right. Never mind. Let him sleep. He ain't got to go to school at all. Let me sleep all day. I'm going to work.
That is not a unified front at all.
That is already not a unified front when you just try to make a suggestion. Like you're suggesting something like, hey, listen, how about we, because he's holding everybody up, and you're like, what you mean he ain't holding you up? He won't never again. I bet you he won't. I don't even care if we wake up now.
You have to try to work it out and communicate together for the household. You have to try for a smoother household is what I'll say.
Look like they tried and they were denied.
Then try again.
For what?
For the relationship and the unit.
Obviously, it's your child. Do what you do with your child. Cool. There it is. I mean, if you try, what else can you do? If someone is not paying attention or not allowing you to be part of the relationship with you and your child, then cool. I don't need it. Good luck.
But you're still living with that person, so aren't you going to feel resentment toward that?
No, it's one less thing for me to worry about. Ruth, how something off my plate gonna make me feel resentment? You struggling with them to get up, and you late to work because I'm going to work now.
Because maybe she would like to see you, stick that out and help figure that out together.
Oh, I'm supposed to argue with you about your child.
Not argue, but let's talk together as a family about why it's better if you get up. For all of us, it's better.
I think that's what she said when he ignored her. I clearly remember him saying that. And she was dismissed. So my answer would be, okay. Hope it works out for you too. I'm going to work. Actually, this give me a couple more minutes to sleep while you in there fighting with him to get him up. I got the bed to myself. Thank you again. See, it's wins. You got to just let people do what they do. It's your child. You do what you want with your child. You know what I mean? There you go.
If
That's
it's
how
not
you win.
affecting the household, but if it's affecting the household, we have to work
It's
as a
not
unit.
affecting the household because only he's late and the child's late for school. I'm at work on time. Actually, I'm not even there when they're going through this now. I kind of left. I went got a coffee now. I got some time to get coffee and a little snack before work.
But then only you are doing okay with that situation. Only
Hey,
you.
Ruth, you got to be okay because if you're not okay, then nobody can be okay. So I got to take care of me. Doc, don't you got to take care of yourself first?
I can't. You
You got to take care of yourself first. That's what Doc said.
Don't put that
I
on
did
me.
not say that.
I heard you
Unbelievable.
say it. I heard you say it when you said it. You got to take care of you first.
Oh
Leave.
man.
Sometimes the best thing really is to leave them, let them work it out.
It may be. Maybe I just don't have enough experience in that. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta leave them, let them work it out.
Yeah.
You gotta walk away and go
And
get
just
yourself
do
coffee
you
and a
and let
donut.
them work it out. Okay.
Yes, get a nice little coffee donut. You know, you can now just have extra time in the morning.
So you just get up and leave every morning, get yourself to
Right.
work, and that's
Right.
No, hey, I would say good luck to him. Hey, good luck.
it.
Hope you make it to work on time today.
It's a shame.
You know, one more late, he's gonna fail for the year.
Right.
See, I'll just get friendly reminders like that as I'm going out the door.
So, the smart remarks.
Right.
Is it smart? Does the truth become smart? Like, you know, one more late will be retention for the year. Hey, y'all have a good one. You got 5 minutes to school.
That's got to be tough. That's just got to be tough because the kids, you know, they're going to look at that triangulation they're doing and they're going to keep it going. It's got to be tough.
See, again, it's no triangulation if you take yourself out of it. It's a
Yeah, I
line.
hear that. I hear
It's
you.
a straight line. I remove myself from it. If you don't want me here and you guys are aligning against me, then you have your line, I have my line. I leave that alone.
But is that harmonious? Is that a unit? Is what I'm saying. Is that a unit that works together under one roof?
It's already not a unit. I'm confused what you're confused about. He already aligned with his child. He said he's making excuses why we're now making us all late. All I'm doing is saying it's going to be y'all late. I'm at work. It ain't going to be we all. It's going to be y'all. Right? So what's wrong with that? I'm letting you guys do your thing. I'm giving you some parent bonding time. Y'all can bond over them being late again and you about to get fired.
But then would you privately talk to her about other ways to maybe help that situation?
But I think that's what he said he did. He talked to her.
I said, would you? I know what he said.
Well, we already had the conversation. I don't believe in repeating the conversation. You said what you said when you told me to mind my business. And I said,
well, what if y'all only got one car?
Right, good, right.
Leanne, I said what I said. I'm going to work. I'm going to stop and get a donut and a coffee. You cool with being late, so you can Uber, walk. I don't know how you're going to get there.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, at work, right?
Come down.
No,
he said Uber or walk.
Man,
Oh
if they told you basically mind your business, they got it. What you gonna do? You gonna fight to be in their business? Like, no, let me help. Are you gonna do that? Or are you gonna be like, okay?
My initial reaction is, let me help.
And they tell you, no, I got this.
Okay, well then, cool.
There we go.
But
I'm not gonna fight you to be on time to work. I gotta worry about my job because it looked like we're gonna break up anyway. So I don't want to break up and have all these lateness and they lose my job too.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Mess around, lose my insurance benefits because your kid don't want to get up and go to school on time. I'm cool. I'm not doing that. And I think that there had to be some other things that were going on that were ignored as well if they're not allowing you to be a part of the relationship, really, right? That can't be the only thing they're keeping you out of. So some other things that are probably going on too that should have been nipped in the bud a long time ago. But like I said, knowing is half the battle. So now I know. I'll make sure I'm at work, and I make sure I'm saving money up. So when I have to leave, because you can get fired, he gonna get left back.
Oh, you are so caring in that family. Wow, so caring.
So how long do you fight for someone to let you be part of something, Ruth?
I hear you, Daryl. I do hear you, but it's worth trying. That's all I'm saying.
How long do you fight when someone's basically telling you they got it?
I hear you. I don't know how long. I don't have a timeline for it, but
some people like abuse. I see. They like being told no over and over again. Mind your business. I got it. Mind your business. I got it. Doc, how long should someone try to, I guess, be part of the situation after someone's telling you that, no, my son, it sleeps late. It's okay. And I got it. We'll work it out. And nothing's being worked out.
I'm sorry. I'm like, Daryl, I'm going to work in the morning. Y'all got to work it out. Let me know what happened.
No.
I'm going to be at work.
I left $5 on the counter. You can tip the Uber.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm saying, Ruth, you can't. And that's what I'm saying.
I know. I hear that. I get that. I do get that. But then are you ever really a unit is what I'm saying. You doing your thing. They're doing their thing. That's my only point. Are you really a unit?
If it's around, well, I don't think we do everything together anyway.
I didn't say everything.
So then are you a unit? Because you don't do everything together. No, you don't do everything. So you may not parent or wake the kid up the same. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to make dinner and feed them. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that it just means that situation, I'm not going to fight you if you don't want me involved in this part of the child's life.
Yeah, but it could just translate into so many other areas. I think if some things aren't addressed, you could make the child dinner and they don't want to get out of bed and come down and eat. And it's so many things.
So guess what they don't do then?
I know they're just not going to eat.
They just don't eat. You can't force them to do anything. You know what I mean? You can't force them to do anything. But it looks like this relationship's not going to work anyway. So I see the writing on the wall.
That's what I'm saying. That's my fear. Like, it's just not going to work.
It might not. Well, I mean, everything doesn't work in a relationship. There's things that go on that you kind of turn a blind eye to that maybe the other person may or may not do. So I think this is no different. As long as it's no outward disrespect, where someone's really disrespecting, that's different. If they're like, well, look, I got it. Don't worry about it. I'll get them. Okay, cool. I tried. You did try. It's not like you didn't.
Okay.
Now they got to get to work on their own.
Okay. I
got the car and we're going. Leanne took the car getting to work. Now just don't oversleep because they beat you out the house, then it becomes a game.
Right. See, that's the thing. Because we're gonna be racing for the car in the morning.
It becomes a game. Who gets the car first? You hide the key.
That's right.
Yeah,
it might be an incentive for them to get.
The problem with that is then no one is waking up the kid because both the parents trying to get the car.
Yeah, he ain't waking up anyway. He gonna fail. We gotta keep the lights on.
Yes.
Getting left back anyway.
Anyway, I'm like he's just like his mama. So let's get out of here. Any last words?
Have the conversations, the disciplining conversations when you're, in a relationship with someone who has children. Have the conversation. What does this look like?
Right.
And you don't have to have it as soon as you meet. It's if you guys are going to live together or get married, you have to have that conversation.
I would say, Doc, I think maybe when you meet is the best time to do it. Like we kind of said, before you got really skin in the game. oh, you have kids? Well, I was, not the first date, second date, maybe the third, fourth.
Yeah, when you find out they have children and thinking about going on more than one date.
Right. Just find out what discipline and stuff looks like. So if they're like, yo, I believe kids should be beat. Thank you. We don't need a date number 2. Right? We don't. I think kids standing in the corner holding Bibles for an hour. Oh, you do. Blocked, delete. When kids, I think it's the extra another question you need to add to your list of things that you're, that you're asking. So I do believe, I think you should, because that can help wean people out, because you don't want to get too close to a person, and now you're kind of like, well, holding the Bible might not be that bad.
Well, I say, don't date people with kids. And if you do, worry about yourself first.
No.
Listen, Leanne is telling the truth. I agree.
Okay.
You need to know what you can deal with.
Okay. And even before that, I'm sorry. Before that, I like to add, make sure you know who you laying down with before we get those kids here, and make sure that you're on an agreement situation before you have the kids with that person that you may not like or even hate. At the end, because the kids get caught up in it.
Yes. And to spin off of that, once you have the kid with whoever, just give the kid to them, because you don't need to deal with no children.
Lee, I'm sitting here waiting for this
Live
moment.
your best life out here in these streets. YOLO.
I agree. Give the child to the better parent. If the other parent is better, let that other parent have that child, please. Give them the best opportunities in life they can have.
Yeah, I would say that I think I agree with that too. Don't hold on to the child out of spite.
Right.
Just because you don't want the other parent to have them.
Right. Don't let your ego let you be a bad parent with that kid.
That's true.
Because if that's really not what you want, even I know sometimes when parents give their child up, people are like, I can't believe that mom gave the child up. I respect that mom, because what that mom is saying, I don't have the ability to take care of this kid. I'd rather them have a real chance in another environment, because I'm not it. So I'd rather that than someone takes on a responsibility that they can't fulfill, and the children have a much horrible life, or even worse. You see things now where people are doing things to kids. So yeah, I say if you can't really do it, to let a grandparent or adoption or something, somebody who can really take care of that kid and love them, I think that's better. I definitely, and I would commend any parent who had enough wherewithal and strength to say, you know what, this is just not for me. This is not for me.
If all that fails, give them the Grandma Ruth. She's waiting.
That's right.
Give them the Grandma Ruth.
No, Grandma Ruth, I heard, beats kids.
Well, she's too old. She's too old for corporal punishment now.
I don't know. Once a beater, always a beater.
Now the fear is already there, and you make sure that you get everything from the grocery store, so you don't have to go back.
Thank you. We're not gonna put kids there to be knocked out.
She did her thing. She's okay.
No, it's cool. That was it. Everybody responded. We want to thank everybody for joining us this week. Very good. Very, very, very good discussion. Listen, check out the YouTube. Please like, subscribe, share the Nothing But Answers YouTube channel. We need you guys to do it. Just go. Even if you never go to the channel ever again, just go there once. Like, subscribe, share. Just there we go. That's all we ask you to do. Also, the Facebook group is definitely growing. We're at 498. Almost at that magical number 500. Please share with your friends. Please have them like the page, please. And keep interacting and posting. We love all your comments. We thank you guys for the honesty in the comments and things of that nature. That's really it. 500's around the corner. Let's get that 500. So I guess that's it. Everybody say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.